The A march with no arms is the first speed drill that I teach. And again, we want to make sure that we're not using the arms at first because it's going to involve too much of coordinative demand. So here, all we're teaching and cueing athletes to start up by doing chin up, chest up, knee up, toe up, heel up, and focus on recovering the heel, stepping over the knee, and driving the foot back down into the ground such that it lands underneath the hips. What you're going to see from your athletes as they try to perform this drill, even with no arms, is that they will bring the leg straight up like a traditional high knee where the foot where the ankle is directly beneath the hips, directly beneath the knee as opposed to behind the knee, and the ankle is out past the center of mass. This is going to cause them to reach and slap. Another thing that you'll see athletes do is do a straight hamstring curl where all that takes place, the heel and the foot is behind the body as opposed to recovering up underneath the hips. This, of course, is going to cause athletes to have too much backside mechanics. So we want to slow it down nice and easy so that it looks like I did it here in this particular exercise, so that athletes get used to the idea of recovering the heel. Cue athletes to pretend like there's an egg where their hamstring and their butt meet and they want to crack the egg with the heel. Clear the knee, clear the support leg knee with their active leg, ankle and heel, step over, drive down, and get the foot back down underneath the hips, with first foot strike being on the ball of the foot, not the heel. This is how we teach the A march, and we've got to get athletes to be able to do it as you saw it here on the drill before we can begin to progress to the next level, because if we cannot get this down, we cannot do any of the drills that come later, even though those drills are, of course, more fun than A march with no arms. Once you've decided the athletes have met a sufficient level of proficiency with the A march with no arms, then you can add the arms in, and you're going to be very surprised at how poor your athletes are at doing this by just adding arm action into the mix. And so I use this as an opportunity to tell them how much improvement they can make once they can get it down, because this is a level 1 introductory level drill and they're having a tough time doing it. So again, with our arms, we want to cue the same things we cued in any arm action drill. Again, clearing the hips in the back, cheek height in the front, making sure we don't doggy paddle the arms, palms stay in, but again, the same degree of range of motion as we saw in the previous drill. Add this next element as athletes get proficient in terms of smoothness and repetition and symmetry, then you can have them focus on driving the feet down faster into the ground, and it becomes a higher intensity march as opposed to just going smoothly, because again, we want to teach our athletes to fire the glutes and be explosive. And so again, simple to complex. Start off nice and easy, get the range of motion down, get the movement down, add that arm action in there, and then pick up the intensity before you move on to the running and skipping drills that are the next level of the progression. Your athletes aren't going to be able to A-skip correctly. This is just a fact. So you have to break it down, like most things, into small pieces that they can manage. So what we're doing here, and the way I start, is by having athletes simply do the A-skip in place, no arms. This way we can simplify things and slow it down in ways they can understand. So I will start generally by having athletes on one leg at a time start the A-skip process. Hopping up on the support leg, as you can see here, the right foot, hop up, hop down. So the cue is very simple. You're going to hop up on the right leg, bring the foot up, and then hop again so both feet land at the same time. By isolating one leg at a time, in place, hands on the hips, you will allow athletes to coordinate the movement a lot better, as opposed to trying to have them do too much where their brains just melt and they can't pull it off. So start having your athletes do the A-skip in place, that you can have them all in one spot. You can do a large group at a time, and begin to address the mechanical issues of recovering the heel up underneath the butt, stepping over the knee, the support leg knee with the active leg heel, and bringing the foot back down to the ground, landing underneath the hips. I have found over the course of years that breaking it down like this, starting with this particular drill, is the easiest way, and athletes will very quickly see how much room for improvement they actually have. So once your sprinters have gotten down the range of motion and the pattern and the rhythm for the A-skip, single leg, no arms, in place, simply have them alternate legs, because again, we want to have them do an equal number of repetitions with each leg. And then we can simply go from alternating legs in place, no arms, to having them do alternating, no arms, moving forward, not covering a lot of ground, trying to get as many repetitions in a short period of time as possible. Once your sprinters have the A skip down where they're in place, the next thing we're going to do is add a little bit of forward momentum. Again, we're still going no arms, but we're going to add that little bit of forward momentum where athletes have to move forward. Again, you'll be surprised at how difficult it is for your sprinters to pull this movement off, even that little bit of extra. But it's a great transition into the more technical elements, certainly when we start to get to adding the arms, and because your athletes are going to still have difficulties. I have done this drill for years and years and years, and as you can see, my right leg still comes out a little bit farther than I would like it to if I was cueing myself as an athlete. So the added coordinative demand can cause problems, and we want to get these things down, and you want to make sure that you're cueing them. Of course, you have to be able to see these issues as the athletes do them, and so we want to rein that in. But of course, as you'll see, if you try to have your athletes use their arms, that adds so much more coordination you wouldn't even believe how quickly kids will unravel. So I really like to focus on keeping the range of motion with the legs going, really getting that down before we add that next element of arms into the mix. So this is the next progression by adding a little bit of forward momentum to the drill.